Most people visualize the wrong way. What do I mean? Whatever you think about shows up in your life. So here's a question. Do you visualize things you don't want, or do you visualize things that you actually want in your life? What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Alex Morton Show. I'm going to be your host, Alex Morton. If you're brand new to this channel, I have been an entrepreneur, momentum creator, now two-time best-selling author, keynote speaker, right? And really just a normal guy from Ohio that had massive goals and massive dreams. So I commend you on being here or listening in on Apple and or Spotify to grow yourself. You know, it's amazing to me how few people in America and really this entire planet actually give a damn about becoming better, right? We're a pretty small group, a small niche community, but we are the people out there not just making a lot of money, but we're actually helping a lot of people and impacting the planet in very, very positive ways. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about, I guess you could call it a magical power. You can call it a superhero power, right? But it is the idea and the premise of visualization, okay? Now, before you say, oh my God, this is esoterical and this is just spiritual and, you know, this is against religion. Let me tell you something here, okay? You can 100% believe in God and or a religion and also believe that the law of attraction works every single time. And here's a newsflash. The law of attraction is just like the law of gravity, right? If I drop this little cap right here 100 times, it's going to go down 100 times, right? The same way that is absolute is the same way I believe the law of attraction is absolute. Now, one of the components of igniting this magical force is getting this idea of visualization ingrained in your subconscious mind and learning tactical ways of practicing this every single day. Now, before I get into really the tactical steps on this, let me just share something with you. For me, I can tell you guys right now, I have used visualization to get every single thing in my life. Okay, before I ever had a Rolls Royce, I saw it in my mind. I saw myself driving the car. I could literally tell you 5 years before I got the car, I could tell you the color of the outside, the color of the interior. I could literally feel myself gripping the steering wheel, smelling brand new leather, and feeling the emotions of joy and happiness and gratitude of actually owning the vehicle, cash, by the way, prior to ever owning the vehicle. You may say, well, Alex, how is that even possible? And this is what I would tell you, right? We talked about it in lots of previous episodes, how every single thing in our lives is the manifestation of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our actions. And we know our emotions dictate and control our lives on a day-to-day basis. So here's an idea I want you to accept, okay? You already visualize things in your mind. You already see pictures. You already create mental movies in your mind. Maybe it's conscious, maybe it's subconscious, okay? However, it's time to actually harness this power, okay? I could give you example after example of how I've used this in my life. The last example I'll give, and then we'll get into it, okay? The condo my wife and I just purchased in Sunny Isles, Florida, at the Porsche Design Tower, okay? I saw an ad for this tower when I was in college. It is the tower where they send your car into your living room 55 floors up, 60 floors up in the sky. Like this is real. You can get on YouTube and type in Porsche Design Tower and you can watch people's Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces, right, literally get sent into their living room. I was going to Arizona State University. I was living with two other guys, okay? My rent was about $400 US per month. I had one bedroom, okay? I had a tiny little bed. I had a shitty little toilet. I had a tiny little like bathtub shower. It wasn't even like a shower. It was like the bathtub that turns into a shower, right? The same one I grew up with actually back in Columbus, Ohio. I shared a bathroom with my sister and my grandma, and it was a bathtub which also transformed into a shower, okay? Now, when I was in the condo at Arizona State University, I printed out a picture of this Porsche Design Tower and I stuck it on my bedroom wall. And every morning I woke up, I would look at the tower and then I would close my eyes and I would visualize myself living in the tower. Fast forward a few years later, I was renting a unit in Porsche Design Tower, okay? Not owning, but I was renting. And then a couple years later than that, we decided, hey, let's go ahead and buy a unit in the tower. So if you don't think the power of visualization works, and you don't think that me seeing that image every day on my wall and then playing a mental movie in my mind, getting not just seeing the tower, not just seeing a car in my living room, no. Closing my eyes and asking myself, okay, what does it feel like to be living in this unit with that kitchen and the car in the living room? The ocean is a football throw away. Like, feel the emotions of this moment. If you don't think that had something to do with me actually getting to the point where I could purchase that unit in that tower, you're absolutely insane. And like I said before, you're already doing this. This is the problem. Most people visualize the wrong way. What do I mean? Okay. Whatever you think about shows up in your life. So here's a question. Do you visualize things you don't want? Or do you visualize things that you actually want in your life? Because your mind in visualization is an open field. You can plant seeds of abundance, prosperity, success, great health, great relationships, great friendships. And you can plant seeds of scarcity, failure, overweight, unhealthy, frustration, anger, animosity. Whatever you plant, whatever you see is going to continually show up in your life. So here's the deal. We move towards what's most familiar. One more time. You and I, as human beings, we move towards physically what's most familiar mentally. Why is that important? Well, if you're familiar with struggle, if you're familiar with being broke, if you're familiar with having way too much a month at the end of the money, if you're familiar with just being like, damn, I tried to lose weight, but I just, this happened and that happened. I just can't do it, right? If you're familiar with that, right, the path of least resistance, that's where you're going to continually get. So we want to move towards what we're most familiar with, and we want to move towards, guess what? Our goals, our desires, and our dreams. So let's get into it right now. When you visualize, think about a moment in your life right now, right? Think about a future moment. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably involved in some type of industry where you're paid on execution, production, and or commissions. You're probably not paid on a salary. Even if you are paid a salary, guess what? You're still visualizing as well. Maybe you want a bump up raise. I don't know. Maybe you want a promotion, right? Here's the deal. Think about a moment in the future. Maybe you have a company convention coming up. Think about that company convention. I want you to visualize yourself at that event. See what it is you're wearing. See your hairstyle, right? See yourself walking across the stage as a brand new producer earning $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $100,000 per month. You're building an image in a mental movie on the screen of your mind. Okay. If you need proof on this part, here you go. If I told everybody right now, think about your mom, think about mom, think about mom, think about mom. There's not 1% of you watching this on YouTube right now or listening to this on Apple or Spotify that sees the letters M-O-M when I say think of mom. You see a picture of your mom, correct? Yes or yes, of course, right? You see a picture of your mom. So guess what? Our minds think in pictures. Now you take the picture and you just amplify it into a mental movie. So I want you to think about a future situation, experience, and then ask yourself, as you're visualizing this image, this mental movie, is it in black and white or is it in color? Can you hear things in this mental movie, right? I can see myself at our next big company convention in front of 15,000 people in, where is it at? It's going to be in Monterrey, Mexico. I can hear people talking. I can feel the heat of the stage lamps and the stage lights on my face. I can feel a little trickle of sweat coming down the side of my face because when I speak, I get very energized and, excited, and I always sweat when I'm speaking on stage, right? I can see the color suit I have on. I can look into the audience. I can see people's faces in the audience. Now, imagine when you're imagining and you're visualizing the things you want in your life, go into that moment and zoom in and zoom out, right? The more you do this, the more you practice, the sharper and clearer it will become in your mind. You will build your future before it happens in your mind. And if you have a tough time accepting what I just said as fact, where, well, Alex just told me I can see my future happening in my mind prior to it happening physically, just buy into that idea of as an absolute truth, okay? Because I don't have, 10 hours with you guys here today, but if you broke down and watched interviews of some of the best athletes ever, they will talk about the power of visualization. From Messi to Michael Jordan to the late and great Kobe Bryant. Conor McGregor used to do pre-fight interviews. You can go look this stuff up. I'm not lying to you. And he would say, I'm going to knock this guy out in the second round, and the sequence of punches will go just like this. And he literally did what he said he was going to do. That is how insanely great he became, okay, at visualizing the outcomes that he wanted. So take yourself there right now. Throw yourself into the future. Maybe you're in your dream car. Maybe you're walking inside of your dream house you just purchased. Maybe you are at your next company convention. Do you hear things? Do you smell things? Zoom in, zoom out, see people's faces. Feel the heat of the stage light. See the clothes that you're wearing. See the clothes that other people are wearing, right? Shake somebody's hand. You can think about an important meeting coming up. Some of you guys got important meetings. Maybe you're knocking doors every single day. You can imagine in your mind and visualize yourself knocking on doors tomorrow in Tucson, Arizona, and you could shake somebody's hand in your mind, give them your sales pitch, and you can take yourself there. So then guess what? Now when you go do it physically tomorrow, guess what? You're going to be more familiar with the outcome. You can role play in your mind of that homeowner telling you, you know what? I don't need solar. I don't need solar. It's stupid. And you can overcome the objection mentally first. So now when you do it physically tomorrow or in 7 days from now, guess what? Your mind, you will be familiar with the outcome. It would de-stress you. It would de-anxiety you, if that's even a term. You want to get familiar with the things that you want. So think about the tasks, the meetings, the events, the calls. You have this upcoming week. Play it out in your mind, right? We just talked about our mind thinks in pictures. We just said we can build mental movies in our mind. We can be in a relaxed state, sit quiet somewhere with no distractions, and think, visualize future positive outcomes and play with it in your mind. God gave you and I the gift of visualization, right? You're already doing it. Now it's time to harness the power of it. Zoom in, zoom out. Is it in color? Is it in black or white? Right? Look around my environment. What angle is the camera shot? Seriously, what angle is the camera shot? Are you seeing it from your eyes? Are you seeing it from, side right, side left, from the back? Are you seeing it from another person's perspective in your mental movie? You can do all of this on the screen of your mind. I do this to this day, right? Before an event, before I go speak, companies pay me $50,000 for a 60-minute keynote. Before I go talk and do my thing, I do it in my mind first. I see myself doing the voice inflections in my mind. I can hear myself giving the keynote in my mind before I go do it physically. So then when I walk on stage, for example, at Grant Cardone's 10X conference in front of 22,000 people it was at Marlin Stadium, I knew word for word what I was going to convey to the audience. And I did it so many times in my mind. When I walked on stage, you can go watch it on YouTube, I wasn't nervous one bit. Why? Because I was familiar with it. Because I saw it so many times. When Tom Brady was down 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, post-game interview, they said, Tom, How are you not pissed? How are you not angry, upset, and anxious at halftime when the cameras were on him at halftime running into the locker room against the Atlanta Falcons? Post-game interview, Tom said, well, I've been there so many times. I've seen myself down 3 touchdowns so many times, and I knew how to control my emotions, and I knew the plays we were going to go out there and run. I was confident we were going to come back, and then we came back and we won the Super Bowl. You understand? You can play your future out mentally long before you have to do it physically. Become familiar with what it is you want mentally, right? Give the gift to yourself of harnessing the power of visualization, right? You can see exactly what it is you want and play it out. And also, once you get really, really good in advance, guess what? You can actually now see some maybe negative things in your mind as well. And I'm not saying I want you to focus on negative. No. I want you to focus on something, a potential challenge arising, and then you deal with the challenge mentally. So when the challenge happens, because challenges are going to happen, frustrations are going to happen, retracements in your business are going to happen, competition is going to happen. How are you going to deal with the retracements, with the competition, with different challenges within your organization? Play it out in your mind. So again, when the challenge shows up physically, guess what? You're already familiar with how you're going to solve the challenge and overcome the objection, overcome the issue, and continue to persevere and move forward and evolve and transform into where it is you're going. And that's accomplishing all of your goals and all of your dreams. So give yourself the gift of visualization. Give yourself the gift of streaming. You guys stream on Netflix and Amazon and Amazon Prime Video. You need to start streaming on the screen of your own mind. And you need to stream the things you want, the desired outcomes, all your goals, all your dreams, and get in there, detailed in there. What you're wearing, zoom in, zoom out, black and white or color, smell it, taste it, touch it, role play it out. So then when you're there physically, guys, it's something you've already done 5, 10, 15, 25 times before. You will have no anxiety. You will not be stressed because you've done it so many times mentally. Okay, use the power and the gift of visualization. Use the power of your supercomputer mind that you and I possess at the highest of levels. Okay, so guys, here's the deal. If you got value from today's episode, please let me know in the comment section on YouTube. Share it with a friend. Share it with your team. Post it in your Telegram and WhatsApp chats if you're a big-time leader in your profession. And if you're listening in on Spotify and or Apple, go ahead and leave a 5-star review, and I will see you on another episode of the Alex Morton Show very, very soon. Go out there and be great, because here's the deal. It is so crowded at the bottom, so you got to meet me at the top. Let's go out there and change the world for the better. God bless.